Hey everybody. So today's video is going to be a slightly different format, mostly because the slides that I was working on just weren't hitting, and then something really exciting happened yesterday anyways. So for some context, I got retweeted by Elon Musk, which that's really cool. I know that Elon Musk is super polarizing, but at the same number, big number. So my little monkey brain is like, ooh, big number. Famous person sees me. As my wife would say, notice me, senpai. Anyways, moving on. So for some context, this is the tweet that went viral. So I've been working on a book called "Have a Nice Trip," and I got through the first draft, and I've been workshopping it. And then Grok 3 came out, and I was like, "This is a short book. Let me just give Grok 3 the manuscript and see what it says." And I'll show you the process that I went through in just a minute, but I don't want to bury the lead. So I went through 2 developmental edits in a row with Grok 3. Now, developmental edits are when you restructure a book, when you say, okay, is the book in the correct order? Are there any chapters missing? Are there any chapters out of place? Do you need to merge chapters? Do you need to create new chapters? This is one of the hardest things that writers do because I know the topic and I know what I'm trying to achieve with it, but what you really need to do is give the book to a fresh mind, someone who has no idea what you're doing, have them read it and say, did the message come across? This is because you have to look at the whole book. This is one of the hardest things for humans to do, and it's also been one of the hardest things for artificial intelligence to do. I've tried ChatGPT, I've tried Claude. I gave up on Gemini because if Gemini, let me know in the comments if this is still true, but at least for a while, if Gemini got triggered, it would delete the rest of the conversation or ignore the rest of the conversation, and it would pretend like I don't know what you're talking about. And so that was just the most infuriating thing. So I haven't even tried Gemini in over a year, just because I was like, that's the worst design decision ever. Because nothing was worse than being in the middle of a conversation and it gets triggered by something. Anyways, that's getting off the soapbox. So what I noticed is that over the course of a 36,000 word manuscript, Grok kept track of the narrative through line and a bunch of the details. And not only was it picking out things, it saw how they all related. So other models can usually say, okay, here's the general vibe. Here's a few quotations, but it'll kind of get lost. It's like, okay, here's this over here, and then it'll forget what it's talking about, and here's this over. But no, Grok 3 was able to keep track of the entire book and every constellation of, or the whole constellation of points and the way that everything related to each other. That is a non-trivial task for a human to do, let alone for an AI. So ultimately, after a few very rapid fire revisions, I moved a couple chapters around. I added a new chapter. I merged a couple chapters. And this process would take normally weeks or months because you have to read it, reread it, keep rereading it, keep brainstorming, figure out what needs to move where. So that's the tweet, 11.5 million views. And I wanted to share a little bit about kind of what I've been doing with Grok. So someone asked, I mentioned that, I was learning about prime numbers and the Riemann hypothesis, and Grok was like, cool, let's talk about that. So what followed, this was one of the first conversations I had with Grok 3, was just like, okay, I just want to learn math. I was like, tell me what the Riemann hypothesis is. And then it said, talked about non-trivial zeros. And I'm like, what's a non-trivial zero? And then it explains everything. And then I started just building an intuition for how to visualize this advanced math. And then it kept going and going and going. Now, I don't want to bore you with the whole conversation, but because you see, it's a very, very long conversation. But my point is that we are past. So Steve Jobs said that a computer was the bicycle for the mind. Grok 3 is the jetpack for the mind. Any direction you want to go, it will take you in very quickly. Now, I want to also talk about, let's see, where did it go? Sorry. I also wanted to talk about, let's see, bookmarks, what I actually did for revision. So let's see. I think this was the first one. What are you doing? That's not the right thing. Come back. Are we having a glitch? It keeps going back to the same conversation. All right. We'll go to a different conversation. Okay, so here's what I did. I literally just pasted my entire manuscript into the chat window. Um, and then I just asked Grok, blah, 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 there we go. So I said, can you give me a review of this book? I don't need a low-level copy editing. I just need mostly looking for structural stuff, completeness, correct order, anything missing, anything wrong, big crayon stuff. So I basically described a developmental edit. I didn't ask for a developmental edit, but I just gave it this basic prompt. And it read the whole thing. Overall impression, this is a robust, personal, ambitious, yada, yada, yada. And this is the process that I went through. And it repeatedly kind of said, okay, here's a structural weakness. Here's an example of a chapter that I had to move. And we kept moving it around at the end of the book. And finally we moved it to the beginning of the book and the complaints went away. Another example, what's missing, what's there, what isn't. And this is all stuff that is not only because, okay, here's the thing. If you ask Claude or ChatGPT to make these recommendations, it'll give you a bunch of generic recommendations, but it's like, it's very clear that it's just doing its best and it's generating text that is like, okay, this is plausible, but if you follow all those instructions, it won't be very good. And so then I did it again. I posted it a second time midstream. I didn't remember that I had did this. And we just kept going back for seconds because I kept adding more. And so what I did though is I basically just kept coming back to the well and saying, okay, here's another revision. What's good? And what needs to change? And that iterative process is exactly what you do as a writer, but you do it with a human. And doing it with a human takes a lot of time because, it takes a human hours and hours and hours to read this and then provide feedback. And then you have to talk to them and you're only getting a straw worth of information back from them because it takes them a while to compile their thoughts and talk about it and that sort of stuff. And so then through several iterations, it was like, okay, cool. Like you're getting there. And in this case, it said you're 85% done. And then the last time I did this, it said I was 90% done. Everything was structurally in place and those sorts of things. So yeah, I think you get the idea. There's something different about this tool. It really comes down to the intelligence of the tool. It's much more laser focused. And I think that also speaks to the attention mechanisms, which might be the size of the model. I don't know. But whatever they did, the Grok's ability to keep attention is really, really critical to its performance and its usefulness. All right, that's about all I'll say today. So thanks for watching. Have a good one.